Hey, someone is trying to comment. Sorry, how can I pass the? I'm trying to pass the admin or this thing to someone else so that they can let people in. Let me just continue. So latecomers do not disturb my presentation. So be how are you? It's been a while, oh, Miss Oluwa. How are you? You guys need to engage more. I've not been hearing from you guys. Great. I'm glad you are doing well. All right, so let's go into it. So first of all, before we start anything, I want you, Chisom, can you send the link out? I want everybody to fill this form and let's see where you are at within your investment journey. So if you can quickly help me fill the form, it will tell you, it will ask you what stage are you at in your investment journey. So do you have, is it that you have no idea or you are looking to gain more knowledge before you start? You've just recently started, uh, you've started for a while, but you want to be sure if you're on track or you're already an expert. So let me just, Chisom, can you share the link on the comment section so that people can feel it, please? Can Chisom hear me? Yeah, I'm recording. Chisom is not there.
Chisom is not here.
She's. Let me share it. I thought I saw her just now.
Yeah, I think maybe network issues. She logged out.
Okay, please fill the. Can you check the link I've sent and click on it and just complete the. Just pick whichever one that fits that describes your journey at the moment. Thank you. Thank you. I can see people already filling the form. Thank you. Can everyone see the link? Can everyone see the link?
I can see the link, sir.
Okay. So just skip, and then just press the one uh, that reflects your journey at the moment. Thank you. Okay, Chisom is back. Chisom, I didn't know you were out of the call. I was waiting for you to send the form out, but that's fine. I'll continue
Oh,
sharing
sorry,
this.
I got kicked out because of network.
No
So I have to
problem.
change my. You wanted me to do something, sir?
No, that's fine. I've sent the link to them. So, thank you guys for completing the poll. It's just a quick poll, just to start with, to know exactly where you are. So it seems like half of us are. Oh, okay, it's moving a bit. So it seems like we have more people that are looking to gain more knowledge before they start, and we have some that have just recently started. So we don't have any experts at the moment, and we don't have people that have started for a while and are just not sure if they're on track. So that is great. I mean, this is a session for beginners, so I'm pleased with the poll, right? If everyone had chosen I am already an expert, then we'll just say, okay, thank you, class dismissed, and we'll just go and eat Philomena's food. We'll call it a day. I will call it a night. But I'm glad to know that you guys are looking for more knowledge and you guys have just recently started. So we have a lot of interesting conversations to have then. So let's just quickly go right and spend some time. Right. So let me just go on to the next one. Thank you guys. Uh, I thought I saw Mentor Julius just now. Okay, great. You're welcome, Mentor Julius.
Thank
So what
you, Dr. Yusuf. Thank you.
it's good to always have you around. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So what we're just discussing, we've not really started, but we're just discussing generally. We wanted to know where everybody is at with their investment journey. So I sent a poll out for everyone to fill. And I think 50% of us here at the moment, we want to gain more knowledge before we start. And the other 50% have just recently started. So we don't really have experts or people that have no idea yet. So which is great. And so we are going to have some interesting conversations. So to start an investment, to start your investment journey, I put it into four phases. So the first phase is about your income, right? If you want to invest, obviously you need the money to come from somewhere, right? Money must come from somewhere, and that's income. So a lot of times money comes from either salary or wages, or there are some other incomes that you can get, right? But you need an income, right? Also, you need to know what your expenses are. So how much do you spend on bills, shopping, vacation, and your credit card repayments? And then you need to know your debt as well. Some people, they don't really know the extent to their uh, to how much they are owing, the extent to which they are owing. So you need to know how much you are owing. You need to like take a calculator and kind of do like your income, expenses, your debts. You need to know your figures, right? Before you can now say, okay, I think it's time to invest. So if you are wondering when is it time to invest, the time to invest is number one, you've ticked the box that okay, I have some sort of income coming in. Okay, I know my expenses, I know my debt, I'm managing my debts, and and you obviously you've saved up for emergency. Then you know that okay, now I can invest, right? So we'll look into this in a bit more detail as we move on. But I just wanted to put it into four phases. And the first one is the income. So let's just talk about the income briefly. Why is my computer hanging like this here? The computer is tired. Okay. All right. So we'll talk about the income, which is the first phase. We'll talk about the savings. We'll talk about the debt management, and then we'll talk about investment, which is the final phase. So before you start your investment journey, these are the things you need to look at, right? So I just want to know because some people said in the first poll that they are looking to gain more knowledge before they start. Some have recently started. So I want to have some sort of idea about what exactly is keeping you from really starting. So what sort of for those that have said they want to gain more knowledge before they start, I want to know what sort of knowledge are you trying to gain before you start. So can you just complete this, just one more poll, and then we can see the results. Just put one word that let me just, I don't know why my screen is hanging now. And slideshow. All right, so can you just put one, I'll share this, or Philo, I said Philo, Chisom, can you share the link so that people can just put one word that represents what exactly their roadblock is. So what exactly, in one word, is keeping you from starting your investment journey? Can you send the link out to some place? So just put in the comments.
All right, sir.
Thank you. All right, so I've shared the link as well. So if you can quickly do that one so that we can see, just put one word that represents why you've not started your investment, or what sort of knowledge are you trying to gain before you start it? All right, thank you. So we can see, oh, I stopped sharing my screen. Okay, so we can see knowledge. Oh, wow, a lot. Okay, thank you. Thank you guys for being very interactive. I love it. I love it. So we can see money, we can see follow. Okay, step. Okay, I guess that's, it means they don't know the steps to it. Knowledge, risk, path, absence, losing, fear, funds. I love that, funds. Funds, income. So I mean, finance, yeah. So it all revolves around, from what I can see, revolves around fear, which means fear, which means fear of losing your money, which is also losing, and the risk, and the risk. Knowledge, meaning that you don't have, you believe you don't have enough knowledge to carry on investing, and that's absolutely fine, right? And that's why a lot of people do not invest, right? Because of all these things, because they don't want to lose their money, they don't have the money, they feel they don't have the money, or they don't have the money, and they don't know the steps to go to follow. They don't have the funds and all that. So what we are going to be doing today is we are going to be looking at, you know, these roadblocks, and we're going to see what we can do about the knowledge. So just let's go on, as just follow me as we proceed. So the next one is, so the first, I said, you know, remember I said there are 4 phases. The income, right? You want to know your income, you want to make sure you understand your expenses, you want to make sure you are saving well, you are, you know, you are managing your debt well, and you want to, and after you've done that, that's when you can now know, okay, I think it's time for me to start investing. So the first thing you need to do is you need to build a financial system, right? So you have your income, but you're not investing because okay, you feel like you don't have enough money or you don't know about investing. But if you have a financial system, uh, in a way that the first thing you do is okay, I want to put this percentage into my savings, I want to put this percentage into my investments, and then you already know your expenses. When you have that financial system, it will be easier to start the journey, right? Because every month is quite similar. I know there might be variations or differences between your expenses, but it's usually similar. So from historical expenses, you should be able to know how much roughly you are going to spend this month. And if you have that figure, you should be able to tell, okay, I think I should be able to cut some of these things, or maybe I can put more money into this. And then you can think about, okay, this is the percentage I think comfortably I can put into my savings, and you can automate that system. And then your investments as well, you can put that percentage into it, right? So we need to build a financial system. But let's go into the first phase. So a lot of people from the poll that we did, they said money, income is one of the major reasons why they've not started their investment. So let's talk about income in a second. So first of all, if you don't have an income, you can't start investment. So it's the first phase is critical in your investment journey, right? But if you don't have an income, you can definitely work towards having an income. Most of us are students, so I'll assume that we can't do like full-time jobs. So what we can probably look into is like side hustles, like freelancing, starting a business or vlogs. Nowadays, we can do like YouTube channels and TikTok and all that to teach people things that you know, or even things that you are currently learning. I stumbled upon a TikTok page, and the lady she just moved into well, I think a lot of people must have stumbled on such videos. The UK people that keep disturbing you. So I stumbled on her page, and she was like, "Come with me as because I've just moved into the UK, so follow me on my journey," or something like that. So she's not an expert in it, but she's teaching people as she's going along, right? She's teaching people things she's learning in the UK and all those kind of things. So you can also do that, just for for as a side also. You can also if you currently have a career, so I don't want to limit it to students, because Datopians now, we have a lot of graduates, we have a lot of people that are working, so I don't want to limit it to students. So for those that are working, I'm sure you have an income from your job, but to increase your income, you can ask for promotion, you can work more hours, just to have a bit more income, so that you can have, once you have your expenses deducted and your debt, at least you have a bit more disposable income for investments. And later, you can now think of passive income from your investments, which we'll talk about later. So I think I've discussed this already. So the passive income I was talking about is when you talk about passive income, is the income you get without actually going to work, right? So we have dividend income from the shares that you buy, capital gains income when you sell your shares, royalty income like the one I get from my book, or people that are into music or entertainment, they get royalties as well. Interest as well from bonds or bank interest, like in your savings account, all those. And then your active income is obviously from the salary. So if you don't have this type of income, I think the first phase is trying to get an income stream. So that is the first phase in your investment journey. The second phase is now to look into your debt management. And you want to first of all make sure, and this is about knowing your expenses and keeping your debt under control. So your expenses should not be more than your income. Once your expenses goes beyond your income, then you are going into debt, right? Because you have to, it means that the income does not the income is not enough for the for your expenses. So now you have to borrow, to service your expenses. So you want to make sure that you keep your expenses, your numbers, based on historical expenses, and you keep your expenses as low as possible, right? If you are starting out, you need to keep your expenses as low as possible so that you can have, more money to put into savings and investments, and then keep your debt under control, right? I can't say have zero debt, because sometimes debt is good. And what I mean by debt is good is that you can't 100% avoid debt, right? You might need the debt facility for something. We, even in banks, we still offer debt to like rich people for their businesses. So the only thing you probably need to avoid is consumer debt. So consumer debt are the debts that you spend on like buying new shoes or new clothes. All those ones, you need to avoid them, right? Trust me, you don't need you don't need a new shoe, you don't need all those, right? So if you can keep your debt under control, and for those that are not in, I don't think Nigerians use credit cards, but if they do, you need to make sure you use it responsibly and only use what you can afford to pay back, right? So that's because credit cards are usually they usually have high interest. So you need to avoid using uh, any form of loan that has high interest that you currently have. You need to prioritize them and see how you can pay them as early as possible. And the reason why this second phase is before your investment journey is because if you have a high interest paying debt and you are investing, it defeats the purpose of investment, because if you are paying 20% on your debt and you are still putting that money into investment and you're getting more, maybe 8% in that, that means like it doesn't make sense, because you are paying someone 20% and you're only getting 8% back. The only time debt makes sense is if that same debt you are using it to make more money. So if your debt is like 0% interest or like very low interest rate, and your investment is high, it has high interest rate like 8% compared to a debt or an interest rate of like 5%, then you can see that that makes a bit more sense, right? So that's why debt management, you need to prioritize it, right? So income and then debt management. The third one is now savings. And the reason why this comes before your investment journey is because a lot of times when you don't have any savings, you now go on to deep into the investments. Investments should not be something that, oh, I really need money, let me quickly put my hand inside this investment that I already have. It doesn't work that way, right? Investment is long term. So if you need money and every time you need money, you quickly go back to investment, eventually you lose a lot of money, because first of all, some investments have like penalty charges if you deduct your money before the due date, and again, you might not get any interest from the investment if you don't let it what's the English word again? If you don't let it marinate. So if you don't let it take a while, right? So you might not get any interest in it. So savings is the third phase. So in your investment journey, just think about four phases, right? Income, I have an income. Debt management, so that includes the expenses. So I know my expenses and my debt is under control. So I'm not saying zero debt, right? I'm saying my debt is under control, which means your high interest debts are you're working towards paying them off, or you paid them off, or your debt are just like 0% interest rates and all that. So debt management is under control, and you've saved 3 to 6 months of expenses. So you have an emergency fund saved up. So you have 3 to 6 month expenses. So I told you about the historical expenses, right? So okay, maybe I save, or maybe I spend like five. Let me see. I spend like 30,000 naira every month. And so you have, you know that you spend 30,000 naira every month. So you have 180K saved up somewhere, right? So, okay, I've saved up 180K. This is my emergency fund. I know that if I need any urgent funds or if I lose my job today, I know that I'm still okay for 3 months. I can cope for 3 months or 6 months, right? You can do 3 months or you can do 6 months. It's up to you. And you know, you've paid up your high credit card interest and you have some savings, right? So that's the third phase. Before we can now think of investment. So generally, before I go on to the investment, the final phase, the best way to stick to your financial system is to ensure you track your finances every month, right? I know some people will say, I don't even know how much exactly I spend. Well, you have apps now that can do that. If you just type finance app on your Google app or Play Store, I'm sure you'll find it. Or you can have an Excel sheet as well to track it. Budgeting as well. Every month, okay, this is the amount I should spend this month. Budgeting is important. Try as much as possible to use a budget. You can review and adjust your financial system as well. That okay, I think moving on, I think I'll be spending more on food. Let me put more money into my food, and you know, let me reduce this, let me do that. You can always adjust it, right? So that it motivates you to keep the financial system going. Also, you need to slim fit that coat of yours and then continue to grow and amplify your financial system. So the more you earn, the more you grow your financial system, right? And then let's talk about the final phase. That's a mistake there. So it's the final phase, and that's investment. So let's talk about investment. Now you have your income, um, you have your debt management. You know, you manage your debt well, and you have some savings. Now you are ready to invest. So what are the things you want to invest in? So first of all, we have four main categories of investment for those that are not really quite knowledgeable about investments, right? So we have low risk to high risk, right? So the low risk investment are investment that they don't really come with a lot of risk. So you hardly lose your money from this type of investment. And this type of investments include fixed income investment. So when I'll give you an example, when government wants to borrow money from people, they send what they do is they say, okay, guys, they call it bonds. So buy these bonds, we'll give you this particular interest because you are borrowing us money, we'll give you this amount of interest. So you can buy bonds, right? All governments have bonds. They just call it different names. UK government, they call it gilts. US, they call it. So we have different name, but it's all bonds, right? Also, the low risk one, it's also what we know as like a fixed deposit. So the bank say, okay, put your money here, and if you put it for 1 year, we'll give you 10% on it, right? So that's also a low risk. So low risk just means that almost like 100% certain you won't lose your money. Like you can, if you borrow the government, you hardly lose your money. Like the government will always pay you back, right? Almost like 99% of the time. So if you put your money in the fixed deposit, if it's a bank that's been there for a very long time, like First Bank or all these Nigerian banks that they are very old, right? There's a 99% chance that they'll give you your money back, right? So you can also borrow your money to the corporate bodies like companies. So it's called corporate bonds. So instead of the government, like companies that have been in existence for a long time, you can borrow them your money as well. So that is also a low risk investment. But when we're now going to say, okay, let's go into a bit of medium risk, then that's when we are now thinking about stocks, right? So medium risk are like index funds, ETFs. So in medium, that's like low to medium. So index funds are just like stocks, like shares of companies. So if you buy like a share of company, it means like you have like ownership of the company, right? So index funds are like, okay, you know what? Let's gather 30 top performing companies. Let's gather them together and people can invest in that index fund, right? So if, for instance, we have FTSE, FTSE 100, so that means, okay, this FTSE index fund, they are gathering 100 of the top performing UK companies so that people can just, instead of looking for the stocks to invest in, the shares to invest in, people can just invest in that one index fund, and it means that they are investing in all those 100 companies. So it's to just split your invest. If you invest like on 1,000 naira, for instance, into that FTSE 100, it means that that 1,000 naira is shared within that 100 companies, right? So that's what it means. So now we go into medium to high risk. So it's between medium and high, and that's when you invest in the shares themselves. So you invest in Apple, you invest in Google, you invest in all those, right? So that's when you invest in them.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
You know your screen is stuck on one page, right?
Let me see.
I just wanted to point that out. It's been on the pool page since.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to ask is I just have a question. With the low to medium risk one, so when you put your money into those index funds,
Yeah.
what then happens to the money? Because I don't think you have concluded on what really happens. So is it that you put it for a while or you're going to put it there for, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen now? Where can you see?
So we can see investment types.
How come? Sorry about that. So this is where it stopped, right?
Yeah, this way was.
I've been talking. Okay, so first phase, we talked about income streams. We talked about second phase, the debt management. Third phase, the savings, and we talked about how to stick to the financial system. And then we moved into the final phase, which is the investment. Okay. Thank you for that question. So with the index funds, so it puts your 1,000 naira, for instance, into those 100 companies, right? So when it puts it into those companies, it splits it into those 100 companies, and any dividend. So any dividend that the company offers, they offer it based on the percentage of equity you have in each company. So it's like you are owning a 0 point something percent of the company. So that is the percentage that you're going to get in dividends or in capital gains. So the what happens with the index fund is that when the top 100 companies, for instance, or FTSE 100, when the top 100 companies, when they grow in terms of value, you also see the growth in your index fund. So it just like it tracks those 100 companies and it puts it, you invest in those 100 companies and it tracks it. So it's like you follow the growth of those 100 companies. So once one of the companies or whatever number of the companies are not performing as much as they should, if another company is performing more, it automatically changes that company and it moves it below. So that's why a lot of companies, they drop out of the FTSE 100 company or they drop out of the S&P 500 because their performance or their value has reduced, and now another company has more value than them, and the company has now moved into that. So it just automatically changes the companies that are there, right, to the top performing companies. So if you invest in it, it just tracks that. So it gives the average value of those 100 companies, and that's what you've invested in, and that's how your investment in that index will grow, right? Hope I've answered your question.
So, is it that the dividend that you get is
Mhm.
reinvested back, or you get your money back?
So the index funds I have, they just send the dividend to me, right? So it goes into my account, but it's up to you to now say, okay, let me put it back into it, right? So you just get your dividend. So even it might be like £1 or like £2, 100 naira, 200 naira in dividend, because obviously the amount you've put in it has spread it over like 100 companies. So the percentage is really like tiny now, but you still get your dividend. You know that, okay, this company is giving me dividend because I have like shares in the company, right? So it's up to you to now say, okay, I want to now put it back into it. So for instance, if you are putting a certain amount into it every month, if you get a dividend payment this month, you can add that dividend payment and then put it back into the index fund.
Thank you very much.
No problem. So permit me to leave my screen like this so that I can make sure that it is, I can make sure that it is, that everyone is seeing the screen. Yes, so I've mentioned the medium to high. So the medium to high is just because you have a higher chance of losing your money if you invest in individual stocks compared to like index funds. So if you invest in, who can give me an example of a Nigerian company that has just gone bankrupt? Uh, I can't think of any right now. If you're investing in a company that,
No, GT Bank. GT Bank just not. I don't know.
oh no, I think GT Bank, they merged with another bank. So
Right.
yeah. So what they do usually during mergers and acquisitions, they inform the shareholders, which is anyone that's purchased shares in that company, that your shares will now be worth this and this, and it will be moved over to the new company. Usually, um, but if you invest in a company that goes bankrupt, then obviously, most likely you're going to lose your money, because it means that, I'll give you an example. If you bought MTN shares for 200 naira, right? The value at that moment was 200 naira. If the value of the shares goes down, oh, like when we had the 2008 financial crisis, right? And a lot of companies, they had to go bankrupt. So imagine if we have that shares now worth 10 naira today. It means you've lost a lot of money. Okay, I think I can share my screen so that I can show you some pictures. I'll show you what my portfolio looks like. I sent it to, let me see. Oh, it's a bit, sorry, just give me a second. Oh, let me play a video. Yeah. The video is not out yet, but I made a video to.
Philomena, why is that?
Some of the reasons could be like just what Dr. Yusuf said, some do merger and acquisition, and since they'll no more be in existence, they release them, and some because of some too is bankruptcy, like what Dr. Yusuf was saying. Like recently, Flour Mill Nigeria was delisted from the Nigeria Stock Exchange.
Did they file for bankruptcy?
No, theirs was not bankruptcy.
Aside from bankruptcy, what other grounds would make the it's just to get more knowledge around what other grounds could make them just delist a company from the stock exchange?
Okay, some decide to like go on their own and say they don't want to be on the stock exchange anymore.
Oh,
Maybe because they want to maybe restructure or do some other stuff, or they want to venture into new opportunities or change their
okay.
business.
Right.
Yes, and some is because they couldn't meet up with regulatory bodies like the requirements. Some can't meet up because most times they go all these government bodies, they go to check if you are following the rules and regulations
Yeah.
that are being laid down. So when they find out that you can't do that too, they delist you. Or some they suspend them until they're able to meet up with the requirements.
Right.
Yes,
Right. Thank you.
no problem.
All right, thank you, Ilona. And I was trying to share my screen, but I don't know, it's not. But for instance, I invested in a couple of Nigerian shares and I was trying to share my screen, but I don't know why it's not working. But I think, yeah, I think it will work now if I share it. Just bear with me. I think it will be more, you'll be able to, you will understand it better if I share my screen. And that's why I want to share my screen. Mm, all right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's a bit small, yeah, but we can see it.
Okay, great. So this is what it is. So if you invest in individual shares, you will notice that. So for instance, the ones in green means that they've increased in value, and the ones in red means that they've reduced in value. So there is higher risk if you invest in individual shares. So Nigerian Breweries, for instance, the value at the moment is now 42 naira per share, but it has dropped 26% from the beginning of the year when I invested in it. So it means that you have a higher chance of losing money if you invest in individual shares rather than investing in like a group of shares, which is the index fund or the ETFs. So I made a video about it, but it's not out yet. But this is just I wanted to share this to just show you that individual shares, when you invest in them, you need to first of all give it time, or you need to do like a proper research. And starting your investment journey is not something that it's very advisable. You need to take your time with it, start from the low risk and build your way up to the high risk or medium to high risk. So shares will still be under medium because it's for you to lose the entire money you've invested in it. It means that the company is probably gone bankrupt. The way Philomena was explaining, it's gone bankrupt, or it's just no longer existing, right? So it's gone to zero value, right? So that's when you can lose your whole entire investment if you invest in one share. But also, it's high risk, right? I'm sorry, I said high risk, high rewards. So in investment, yes, Dr. Ajumoke.
No, I wanted to ask a question like a layman because I'm just trying
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
understand what you're saying. So if I get it, shares like is like 100%, right?
Mm-hmm,
And somebody can choose to buy 10% of a particular shares.
mm-hmm.
Don't they finish buying it? Like I don't know, because I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
So is it that it's a shares buying can never be exhausted? Because I'm just wondering why there's still more shares to buy with Zenith Bank and those other very Nestle and Nigerian
Mhm.
Breweries and all those places, because they've been around for a long time. Are you saying that people are reselling their shares, or they're just not being exhausted? I'm just
Yeah.
wondering.
So that is a good question. Well done for thinking that way. So the way the shares work, right, is that there's a market to sell and to buy shares. Especially for shares that are very prominent, well-known shares like all these ones, Nestle, Dangote. Every day, people buy and sell them every day. So it's like you buy, you sell, you buy, you sell. So people buy and sell shares, but they also offer like more shares. So for instance, they might say this is the current number of shares that we are selling, and in the next year they might add more shares. Shares, they might issue more shares out for people to buy. For when they do that, the first thing they do is they go on to the current shareholders that, okay, guys, we are issuing more shares to the public. Do you guys want to buy at a discount before we sell it to, the public? So a lot of times I get messages that, okay, um like I think the recent one was MTN, if I'm correct. So yeah, they go to their shareholders and say, okay, if you want to buy at a discount, feel free to buy it, but we want to now get more money from the public. We need, because we need to invest in this and that and this and that, right? So these companies just come out and say, okay, right, we want to issue more shares, we need more money. But generally, these people sell shares and buy shares every now and then in the market. So that's why they call them the very liquid, sorry, very liquid shares, because you can easily buy and sell your shares. But if you go and buy if you go and buy shares with companies that are not so prominent, I bought one shares one time ago. I can't even remember the name at the moment. Hey, to sell that share, it took me days to sell the shares, because it's not just something that is liquid. Like, people don't buy it, right? So it takes a while to, it's not liquid as much as this one. So it takes a while to sell them, because nobody is buying at the moment. So people buy and sell shares every now and every day. So that's what makes it. I guess that's what makes the world go round anyway. So moving on, you just notice that sometimes you get a minus, sometimes you get the grains. So it is more risky when you invest in individual shares. So that's why it's medium risk, but it also comes with um high returns, because the more risk you take in investment, and that's why I like investment, because it rewards you for the risk, for the extra risk you take. So if you take more risk, it means that you are open to more rewards. So if you take less risk, so that's why the ones that have low risk, they usually offer lower rates. Like, you get lower interest rates for fixed deposits, you get lower rates for fixed income assets and all that. But for shares, you can't really tell how much it will grow, right? You can see Transcorp. I bought this when Transcorp grew drastically, or before it grew, and it grew to 4,000% growth. If you can see there, so it was pence, kobo. It was kobo when I bought it, so it grew by 4,000, right? So you can see that uh, you have like higher returns if you invest in like just individual shares, but index funds are like, the average returns on index funds are usually like 8 to maybe 12% or so. They hardly go beyond 20% every year. So that is why but people like it because you can't really use it. You can't really lose your money with index funds. So yeah, Shobie. I like it like this. You can ask your question, Shobie. Yeah, Miss Yolua. Are you there? I can't hear you. So let's go on to the. Oh, you typed it. Okay, that's a good question. So Forex, she's asking the difference between Forex trader and a regular investor. Yeah. Okay. So a Forex trader is just person that trades on opportunities. So the Forex trader personally, I used to be a Forex trader a long time ago. Forex is I don't want to say gambling, but it has a lot to do with gambling. So you think these shares will increase in value. You check your charts, you check the fundamentals, you quickly put money in it because by the end of the day you want to take your money out. So that's what Forex does. So Forex is just like foreign exchange. They do it on like currencies. General traders, what they do is they see opportunities in the market. So for instance, when Trump won the election, you can see like a lot of stocks they grew, like seriously. If I was a forex trader, I've invested in. Oh, okay, take care. If I was a forex trader, I would have invested in Tesla. You know why? Because Elon Musk was strongly behind Trump, and for Elon Musk to be strongly behind Trump and for him to win, it means that he has some plans with Elon Musk to grow Tesla. So that's why investors think, well, I think Tesla will grow really well because Elon Musk is like Trump's very close friend. So anything that will favor Tesla, Elon Musk, the Trump will sign it and he will go for it. So that's why you can see that Tesla grew. A lot of the tech stocks really grew, but the difference between traders is that they will quickly remove their money maybe at the end of the day or max maybe a week or two. But investors, they don't do the in and outs. They hardly look at the charts. Investors don't really look at the charts. What they look at is the fundamentals, right? Okay, is this company has this company been generating profit for a while? Let me see the management of the company. What exactly is going on within the company? Are there any adverse news and all that? So those are what investors look at to know if they want to invest in shares. And they don't do it for just the day or for the week. They do it for a long time, like 5 to 10 years or so, 2 years, 3 years. They want to see returns in years. Not so. That's the difference between traders and investors. And the ins and out, I mean, is that I am an investor. The traders do in and out, right? So if you see the shares that are moving up and down, it's just the traders that are working. Also, some investors feel like, you know what, I don't think I want to invest in this stock anymore. Or maybe there's a news, for instance, and they feel like, I think it will have an adverse effect on this stock. Let me take my money out. Or the news might be positive and be like, okay, I think let me put my money in these shares. So, we have millions of people, billions of people in the world, right? So a lot of people are investing daily. So people put their money in and some people take their money out at different stages in life. So that's why there are a lot of ins, there are a lot of outs in the investments, in the market. The last one is the high risk. So if you have any question, don't forget to always just let me know, raise your hand, and so it's an interactive session. So the high risk one is the crypto. Let me just stop sharing my. I think I've been able to explain my point on this one. So let me stop sharing this one. The high risk ones are the cryptocurrencies, and the cryptocurrencies are the ones that like Bitcoin, Ethereum. And the reason why they're high risk is because they are way too volatile. You can see Bitcoin at 100,000 today, and if you check tomorrow, it might be 80K or 70K is way too volatile. The only time a company's shares will go down that much within a day is if there's like a very important news or like a drastic thing they've done, or maybe maybe the CEO has done something terrible and the shares are falling like crazy. That's the only time you can see shares fall or jump up like that. Or the time Nvidia, who invested in Nvidia here? The time Nvidia just skyrocketed up for like it went like 1000%. Yes, so that was the time where AI we were all beginning to go crazy about AI. ChatGPT was coming to fruition. Everybody started using ChatGPT, and that was the time also Tesla released their robots. And if you notice the news recently as well, Nvidia has gone really has taken a dive. The shares has taken a dive like 20% or so. And again, the reason is because we all thought Nvidia was like, if anything, AI, just leave on for Nvidia. Do you understand? But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a Chinese company came up and say, wait, what Nvidia is doing is small. We can do it for the Nvidia was using like a lot of chips to do their AI GPT. But this company came and said, you are using 12 chips. We can do that in just 6 chips. Half of what you are using, we can do that. And we can do that a lot cheaper. And everybody was like, are you serious? And they came up with their own like AI, and all the functions were even better and everything. And like, wait though, so these people can sell chips that are cheaper and this. So there was a cheaper option to Nvidia. And news like that, it affects companies, right? So that's why it took a dive that, okay, hold on, guys. You guys are not the boss anymore. Let's look at this Chinese company. So that's why it felt like that. So that is the only reason why shares can fall within a day like that, as much as the way cryptocurrencies are. Cryptocurrencies are known to be very volatile. You can just hear that Tesla wants to start collecting Bitcoin for their cars, and all of a sudden you just see Bitcoin to the moon is now 200K. You can hear another news about Bitcoin and it just goes down. So it's really volatile. So that's why it's really high risk. So I hope you guys understand the concept of risk and rewards in terms of investments with everything we've explained. Just put something, maybe emoji, to show that you understand, or thumbs up. I can't see any thumbs. Do you understand, so that we can move on? Or everybody is cooking like Philomena? All right, thank you.
I'm done cooking. I'm not cooking.
All right, cool. Okay, so that is what we talk when we talk about don't let anybody fool you. All those are just financial jargons. The high risk, I've mentioned what high risk to low risk is. I've mentioned the types of investments that we have. So let's look at how you can really start with your investments. We've discussed, I'm moving on to this because of time, because we've discussed this already. All right, so how can you start investing? The first thing is that you need to start, I think I've explained it as well. You need to start with very low risk. So start to put something monthly, and in a low risk. So you can put it in government bonds, or you can put it in like fixed deposits, things like that. That's investing as well, right? Or you can start as well with index funds, and you can see all these index funds on platforms like Bamboo, Trove. The ones I showed you is from WealthNG. I use WealthNG because it's quite simple to use, and I use Trading 212 for my UK portfolio. So you can use Wealth NG, you can use Bamboo, you can use Trove. Bamboo has Wealth NG is just for Nigerian stocks. Bamboo and Trove, they have international stocks like the FTSE 100 I was talking about, the index fund for UK, UK top 100 companies. They have all that, so you can use either of those two. And you can start with any amount you have. Nowadays, it's cheap to start investments. Like you can put 1K in it, you can put 2K every month, you can put whatever you have every month, you can put £10 every month, right? So it doesn't have to be a lot at all. So it's just really the first thing you need to build is consistency, right? You need to be consistent with it. Try to, even if it's that 1K you're putting every month, you need to be consistent about it. Try putting it every month to make sure that you're consistent. And then as you grow in terms of your income and you have more disposable income, then you can put more money in it. I won't talk about or if you are because I think some of you said you have the fear of losing money, so you can start with a dummy account. There are dummy accounts with Trade 212, Bamboo, Trove. They all have dummy accounts that you can use to practice before you start. But yeah, you can use any amount to start. It's so easy to start these days. I'll move on from the stockbrokers, but because we are in 2025, so I don't think people use a lot of stockbroking again. The stockbrokers I mean is you going to maybe Zenith Bank stockbroking to now say you want to start investing because it's quite expensive. When I reached out to Zenith Bank 1 year like that, I think they said the minimum is 250K. I was like, you guys need big men, not people like me. Me that I want to just be investing my 5K. You're asking for 250 initial. I just moved on. So, but the option is still there for people that have a lot of money. Okay, so now we are going to go into questions around investing, right? Okay, so for people that start their investment journey, they usually ask a lot of questions around this. So the first question is, can I invest in my friend's business because I trust him? I think I'll let people answer this question. So who wants to answer this first question? Can I invest in friend's business because I trust him? Chisom, do you want to answer the question? Is Chisom still on the call? Or who wants to help her? Let's leave Philomena that is cooking. Oh, she said she has finished now. Philomena, oh yeah now. Okay, Solomon said he wants to answer. Yeah, Solomon, go on.
Yeah, I would say you can actually invest in your friend's business because you trust him, but not because you trust him or because he's your friend, but because it's a business. You would definitely have to do your own survey and make sure that it will be profitable to you, disregarding the fact that the person is a friend. If you're a business person investing in a business, you have to do your thorough search.
That's perfect. I mean, that's the perfect answer. So 100%, don't invest because you trust him, but invest because it's a good business proposition. If you want to help your friend, you can give him some money, not donate, like maybe borrow or just say, okay, this is the amount I have towards your own business, but I can't invest in it because I don't see that it is. You don't have to tell him that, but you can just say, I don't have money at the moment. This is what I have. You can just give him money just to support you. But if you want to invest in it, you need to carry out your own research. You need to make sure that the business proposal is the business is viable and is a profitable business. So rather than just say, well, I trust him. And these are the mistakes that some of us probably have made before. We've thought of different times in our lives. Okay, a company is offering 50% return in 30 days. What do I do? So, who wants to answer this one quickly?
Run. Oh.
Yes, so a company is offering 50%. So anytime the returns are so high, make sure in a short period, make sure you run, right? Um, I've seen a lot of situations, a lot of cases where people come back and say, in fact, I lost my money because I invested. The first thing I ask is, what was the percentage returns that they said they were going to give you? As a you said, you are too greedy. In 30 days, you want to make that amount. Calm down. So make sure that investment is it requires research and it requires patience. So if those two things are not there, you are likely to lose your money. And if you have the fear of losing your money, make sure that you do the proper things you're supposed to do. Don't get greedy with trying to make money as fast as you can. That's not how investment works. So you have to be calm and you have to make sure that it makes sense. So I have a pyramid scheme that sounds great. My friend got his money back. Should I invest in it? Pyramid schemes run because pyramid schemes they are paying Peter, they are collecting from Peter to pay Paul. Eventually, you might become the Peter that never gets his money back. So run, pyramid schemes run. I don't have a lot of money to invest. Can I start when I earn more? Well, I think that's what we've discussed now, that you don't have money to invest. So you have to look at those 4 phases that we discussed. Do you have income? You have income. Have you checked your debt management with regards to how much your expenses are? And do you properly manage your debt? The third one, do you have some savings? And then you are ready to invest. So, like I said, investment can be 1,000 naira every month just to build that consistency. Crypto is popping at the moment. Can I invest my school fees? Who wants to invest their school fees in crypto? Anybody? Shobie wants to invest though. I knew you were going to invest your school fees. So yeah, bring your school fees. Oh yeah, now you raised your hand. Oh yeah, now bring your school fees. So, do not invest your school fees. So do not invest your school fees in crypto. It's a high risk, like we've discussed. It's high risk. And for you to start your investment journey, start with low risk. Get an understanding of what you're investing in before you invest. I prefer betting to investing. Well, betting is high risk as well because you are betting. You can either lose your money or win some. So I 100% do not support betting. I don't encourage it. And investment, we have low risk investment that can still earn you some money. We have medium risk that can still. I shared my portfolio with you. You can see the growth in my portfolio, and that is something betting cannot give you, right? You need to be patient and you need to make your research and know exactly what you want to invest in. And I don't invest because I'm afraid of losing all my added money. Well, we've discussed this already. We have low risk investments that you can put your money in that have 99% or almost 100% chance of you not losing any money. Right. So you can definitely start from there. And how do I start? And we've just discussed that you start from low risk and you build your way up. You use electronic platforms, and you can even start with a dummy account. You can start as low as 1K a month, 5K a month, 20 pounds a month, wherever you are. So I think we've covered all that. So my final nugget would be, now remember that income generation is the first step. So make sure that whatever you do, make sure that you are always and consistently looking for ways to increase your income so that you can have more money to invest. All right. Once you find a way of earning more than you spend, you're a step closer to financial freedom. So Keep on increasing your income as much as you can, and try as much as possible to reduce your expenses and to manage your debts, like we've discussed. So those three phases are very key before you start, right? Also, make sure that you have some savings so that you don't always go back to your investments, because investments are long term. You're not trading, you're not betting, you're investing for the future, right? You want to see the growth. The growth I've just shown you from my portfolio is not a 1 month growth. Is from 2024 to 2025. The ones I've just showed you, I think everyone was there when I showed it. So you don't get like 4,000%. That was probably luck, but it's not. I won't say it's because I know anything, but I've just invested in solid companies in Nigeria that I feel like, they will do great things. And I've waited for 1 year before you see that kind of percentages. So it's not something that you just see within a month. You start slow and you build consistency. So like I said, 1K every month, and then you grow from 1K to 2K to 10K to 100K, right? Gradually like that. Before you know it, you're seeing that, okay, I'm the one now sending 1 million into my investment funds every month. What's happening? Somebody say amen. All right. So the next one and the last one, the final nugget, is only invest in yourself. Sorry, I said only invest in things that you have substantial knowledge about, or you can make research on. And that's why I keep saying, for people that just say, oh, I think there's one coin, Dogecoin now, that they are putting money in. Let me quickly put money in it. So you can't do that because you don't have substantial knowledge about it. So try as much as possible to start slow and start low, right? Low risk, and then invest in yourself, right? Read books, non-fiction around finance, learn skills, and investing in certifications around personal finance. You can buy courses, educate yourself on personal finance, risk management, and all that. So ensure you invest in yourself as well, right? Okay, so I think that's everything. Just one final poll before you go. I just want to know. I'll send you the link now. 1 second. I just want to know if you feel more confident about investing after this. Let me see how I can send it to you. And then, do you have any questions while we'll do that? Any questions? Let me share the. Please, can you just help me fill this? Thank you. Sir, I would need a knowledge of financial valuation. Okay, yes, definitely. We can always do that again in another session where we talk about how to value a company and how to know if it's a good investment. So we'll definitely do that in another session. That's fine. Thank you very much, guys, for filling it. Any other question? Let me see if I missed any question. I had an issue setting up a Trove account. Okay. Okay, Solomon replied you. Great. You guys have been really chatting on here. That's really nice. That's great. Thank you so much, guys. Is there any question before I go? I'm glad that you guys feel more confident about investing now, and you guys are ready to get investing, right? Or you still have a bit of work to do before you start?
The only thing that is needed now is the fund. Yeah, we don't know if you can pass us some fund. We can start.
Okay. That's not bad. Who else needs the fund so that
I don't know. Is anybody on that table with me? It's good to say invest now, but we need fund now.
Me too.
Chis-
The font is very, very important. We need a lot of fonts.
Chisom is the richest here. She's saying me too.
Ah.
But to be honest, I think this is the first time that I'm really getting to understand, and it's so funny that you have a finance person, somebody that has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to finances and investment, and I know little about it. When he starts talking about it, it feels like gibberish in my ears. But the truth is that I've learned a lot about how to start and how I can go about starting small, just from the the webinar that you've given us today. So thank you very much for the wealth of knowledge that you have passed on to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. Really appreciate. I'm glad because yeah, I'm glad we were able to. I'm glad it was an interactive session, and everyone was able to like ask questions around. These are the questions that most of these questions I've never even gotten them before, and I love the fact that I got them because it comes from uh, a genuine place of trying to seek knowledge. So thank you guys for that. Chisom, you have your hands raised.
She's still looking for the money now, the money for the investment.
Yeah, Chisom cannot tell me she's looking for money. She out of everybody here, Chisom cannot tell me she's looking for money.
Everybody's looking for money. Even
Dr. Adeju-
Dangote is still looking for money.
Dr. Adejumoke cannot tell me she's looking for money. Eh?
Hey, Jesus.
So,
It's
but
well.
yeah, so by God's grace. So the first phase is something that, like, that's why I put it as the first. The first phase is the most important part of it. If you don't have income, I mean, there's no point talking about having this conversation. So it's just for us to see as much as possible. Let's see how we can increase our income, maybe by promotion or by side hustles and all that. And then, while we're doing that, we are managing our expenses, we are keeping our debts in check, we are putting some money aside for rainy
Mm.
days. And then, like I said, as little as possible, we can just start. It's just really from the starting point, it's just really about building the consistency. And that's all really. So thank you so much, guys. Do you have
Sorry,
any?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask. I know you mentioned the ones that you used, but I've heard a lot of other ones like Trading 212. I think those ones they keep disturbing my YouTube videos with their ads.
Yeah.
So and I think that's a platform for the index fund, right?
Trading 212, right?
Abby, is that not what they do?
Yes, yes, yes. So I use Trading 212 for my UK stock. So Trading 212 is really, really good. And it's good for people that are in the UK because it has all those index funds. It has a lot of stocks. It has a lot of options, plethora of options. So you can definitely start with Trading 212. And it's very, very user friendly. And they're not paying me for this, but I love them so much. Trading 212. So
Is
yes,
there any other ones in the UK?
yeah, there are a couple. So I think Robinhood also works in the UK, but I've tried Robinhood, but I think Trading 212 seems like the better option for me
But for
because
somebody looking to invest,
yeah.
which one would you advise? Is it a UK index fund or a Nigerian index fund?
So well, to talk to really be sincere, although I use both, but the Nigerian ones because they give a lot of dividends, I like them. Nigerian stocks give a lot of dividends compared to I get a lot of dividends from the Nigerian shares that I own compared to the UK ones. So, but the UK ones, in terms of growth and ease of access or access to information. They have access to information. So it's easy for you to research on these companies that are in the UK, right? So you can easily make research, see what's going on in the company. But for you to get that same level of information with Nigerian companies, it might take a while. You might have to spend more time, or you might not even see it. So that's why for a beginner, you can start with the UK funds because you're in the UK and see how it goes from there. And then you can just invest a little bit more in like Nigerian funds. But both of them, they offer like diversified portfolio because there are different regions. What is happening in Nigerian economy is different from what's happening in the UK economy. So a mix and match of those is really good because if you have all your funds in UK, for instance, if anything happens in the UK economy, your entire fund or your entire portfolio will be affected. But if you have in Nigeria, in the UK, in the US, you know that you have a diversified portfolio.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you very much for coming to this session. I think I really enjoyed it, to be honest. I enjoyed that everybody participated in the polls and you guys asked a lot of questions. Imagine me talking and no question. So thank you so much. And our investment club guys, I can see you guys there, although it's only Ernest that is left here, but oh, she's left now. But yeah, well done, guys. And if you are not part of the investment club, make sure you join us. And we'll be having a lot of these sessions more frequently now. So thank you very much, guys. And I'll see you again soon. Yeah. Thank you, guys.